Ready.
Should be live now, Joe.
Hello and welcome to our very first virtual open house here at Portsmouth High School. I'm Joseph Amaral, Principal, Portsmouth High School, and welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening as we learn a little bit more about your child's program in each one of their academic courses, and as we navigate this unusual times and trying to continue to provide students with the support that they need, not both academically and social emotionally. And I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I also want to share a couple of things that I think are important in order for us to have a good relationship this year as we move on forward. The relationship between school and home doesn't happen in isolation. The way our school works is that we need to have continuous communication between what's going on at home with your child and also with a teacher here at school. Having those conversations will enhance your child's learning and be able to have them reach high levels of rigor. So that communication is vital. We have many people that are here to support your child, and some of them are here with me tonight, and they'll be able to share with you how they can offer, what services they can offer, should you need them to be able to move forward and get your child the access that they need. But we ask three simple things. Number one, I'm going to say we can celebrate that our school, again, is in the top 5% of all the schools in the state of Rhode Island. And I think even in the nation, in terms of our performance and our students' ability to access high-level learning beyond Portsmouth High School. So we're very proud and supportive, very proud of our teachers, our students, and certainly you as parents to make sure that you're putting your child's first in their education and give them the best chance to advance moving forward throughout this time. So sometimes my microphone goes off. I hope people were still hearing what I was saying, but the three most important things that I think are most important are the students need to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. Even now more than ever during COVID time, if your child is not studying or not paying attention to their teacher from home, or whether they're here in school and not doing the proper assignments, they're going to fall behind. They're not going to maximize their learning. Please work with our teachers to ensure, and your children, to ensure that they are being honest and truthful about their effort to learn and to reach those high levels of learning. Second is to be respectful. Being on Zoom or being in class sometimes can be, it can be onerous, and students can sometimes do things they ought not to do. Please reinforce with your children to make good choices and to be respectful of everyone in the virtual world and also in real world. And we want our students to bring the best self to everything they do. You're going to encounter challenges in life, and certainly this year has been no different. And we want our students to be able to be versatile and to persevere and to be able to meet those challenges by bringing their best self. Nobody can ever criticize anyone for doing their best and try to make something better than just doing the average good enough job. We want students to do great jobs, and the way to do that is to bring their best self to everything you do. And something that I think is very important in order for us to function as a society is we want to instill the same values that you instill at home. Good character values that are going to last for a lifetime, and it will get them closer to happiness. And that is making right choices, even when parents and teachers and administrators or principals aren't watching. That's what's going to bring them to success here at Portsmouth High School. And we support that each and every day. And want to thank you for doing your part. Like I always said, we're a three-legged stool, parents, teachers, and students, all working together to try to bring the best that we can for the future lives of our students. So thank you again. At this time, I'd like to introduce, wait a minute. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first-year superintendent at his first open house, is Dr. Thomas Kenworthy. Dr. Kenworthy?
Thank you, Mr. Amaral. Good evening, everyone.
I know we are all getting used to these new Zoom formats for everything, but we're applying it now. Let me start my video there. Applying it to open houses as well. For the time being, obviously, with our COVID situation still the way they are, but I know the administration and staff of Portsmouth High School has put a lot of great effort into planning a wonderful program for you virtually this evening. So I look forward to dropping in and out of several of those sessions. So thank you and welcome.
Well, part of our success in short is the work of all our teachers in conjunction with our associate principal, Paige Curran, who's run meetings on a weekly basis with cohorts of teachers all last year to try to beef up our instructional program and to be able to stay at high levels of rigor. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our associate principal, Paige Curran. Paige?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. As Mr. Amaral shared, my focus at PHS is on teaching and learning, as well as facilitating all standardized testing, including the growth of our AP program. We just completed the SAT for all seniors, and we will be administrating the PSAT for all juniors next week. We work within interdisciplinary teams with a focus on a data-driven approach through the MTSS system to reach the needs of all of our students. So welcome and enjoy the program this evening.
Thank you. One of the things that students struggle with the most is transitions, and the Portsmouth School Department has made a huge commitment to provide transitions for students from 8th to 9th grade, and it has made with huge success. It's one of the hallmark programs in the state of Rhode Island for transitions, and the person that's been there from the very beginning, Colin Grimsey, is our freshman academy director, who will speak to you briefly this evening about the program.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here tonight. As it was said, we're in our third year, so we're feeling very confident this year in all of our processes and ways that we support kids every day, and really trying to help everyone make a connection to the school, to the adults at the school, to their classmates, and to the community at large. And we think we do a pretty good job at it. And we're really looking forward to another year. So anything and everything having to do with freshmen, you can just give me a call, shoot me an email. Best way right now anyway is to just call the main office and they'll find me. And just wish everybody the best of luck for this great new year. Thanks.
Thank you, Colin. Amanda Turcotte is one of our two Director of Student Services people, and she is primarily responsible for the work that goes on with our school counselors. She meets with them regularly. She comes up with programs to be able to provide students that necessary support that each student needs for both academic as well as social emotional counseling. Hello, good evening, Amanda. Thank you for coming. I know Amanda's not feeling very well this evening, so I'm not going to position her to have to speak very much. But
well enough to say at least hello and good evening to everybody.
Thank you, Amanda. And some of you might know, those of you that went to Portsmouth Middle School, Mr. Chad Smith, who was assistant principal at the middle school and now is also the director for student services and discipline here at the high school. Mr. Smith.
Sure. Good evening and welcome on behalf of both Mrs. Turcotte and myself. In a very short while, you're going to meet some of our student support services personnel on the social emotional end. I do want to encourage everyone, as Mr. Amaral referenced, to really build those relationships with our guidance counselors. Our guidance counselors, our team that are that really first level of social emotional support, as well as academic planning support, whether you're a freshman coming in planning your 4 years, or as they're doing right now, getting ready for that college transition for our seniors, and what the next steps are going to be and everything in between. Our student support services are extensive, and that first layer goes through that guidance suite, that support services suite with Mrs. Vi as our clerk. And please feel free to reach out to any of those people with any questions regarding, once again, academic planning, social emotional support, and encourage your child to build a relationship with those people. Mrs. Turcotte works closely with our advisory program and making sure that students have those adults in their lives to wrestle with some of those issues, whether they be as mundane as a credit count or certainly as complex as some of the issues our students are dealing with. in our ever-changing world. So welcome and have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And certainly we want students to be healthy in all facets. A student who's not healthy can't access the curriculum, can't be successful. And we want students to make healthy choices. And we have with us our student assistance counselor that does a lot of prevention programs, as well as being able to counsel students who maybe need that extra support to get themselves back in the right direction. This evening we have Terry Gregg with us. Good evening, Terry.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's so nice to be here. I love working with your children. So my role in the school is a confidential counselor. I work with kids on all levels of substance abuse, prevention, intervention, and hopefully never have to do it. But if a kid needs some further treatment, I find a direction and a way for parents to get the best help for their kids. I also, like Mr. Amaral said, run a lot of prevention programs in the school, which is so much fun for me. I get to work with kids on doing fun initiatives in the school, like handing out candy canes with support messages, or a lot of different initiatives with the kids. So it's, and before I forget, on November 5th, on the PTO, we have from my agency, RISAS, Lee Raposa will be speaking about suicide prevention and how to talk to your kids about suicide, and some steps you can take to make sure your kids are safe. I wish you all a great night tonight.
Thank you, Terry. We have with us this evening Amanda Medore, who is our school psychologist. She, maybe some of you might know her because she was the dean of students at the middle school and has come back to the high school to serve as our school psychologist. And between Amanda, Kirsten, and Terry, they've been working really hard to try to provide a lot of online information for parents and resources to get the help that they need. And perhaps they can talk a little bit about that tonight. Amanda?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Amaral. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Medore. I'm the school psychologist, as he said. I just wanted to touch base for a minute tonight about the resources he referenced there. We did send an email to you all just to give you a brief overview of the student support services and school-based mental health services that are available at Portsmouth High School. I apologize. They are all videos of me telling you a lot of the things that I'll tell you right now. But I hope you enjoy them and have a bit more understanding of what we have to offer at Portsmouth High School based on what we've put together. Just in general terms, we want to be here for your students to help break down barriers to learning. So any of those things that come up, whether they're academic and a support that we can provide through the staff in the guidance suite, or Ms. Hanrahan and myself, or Mrs. Gregg, where we provide a little bit more specialized instruction at a higher level of need, more intensive levels of support. We're here to help with any of the problems that may come your way this year in support of this team. If you did not get that email from us today, don't worry, it is linked to the website. So if you wanted to explore those resources, you can find those at the PHS website under the Our School tab. And then all the way down at the bottom, there is a link to student support services, and you can find all of those resources. We have a parent portal for mental health. We have a Google Classroom for Mental Health Matters, as well as some additional information about who we are. We're also going to be available on November 5th for the PHSO meeting starting at 7 o'clock. So if you want to meet us and discuss anything further, we'd be glad to do so there at that time. But welcome back. We're glad to see you in whatever capacity you're with us this year, and we hope to continue to be happy and learning and moving in a positive direction with you.
Thank you, Amanda. Kirsten is also with us. She's part of the Student Support Specialist Program. Kirsten is a social worker and has a lot of connections to the community. Perhaps you can speak to those. Kirsten?
Thank you, Mr. Amaral. Hi, everybody. Welcome and good evening. I'm glad you all are joining us on this virtual open house. I wanted to introduce myself as the high school social worker. And like Mr. Amaral just mentioned, one of the key parts of my job is collaborating and coordinating with outside agencies, whether it be outpatient practices, Newport Mental Health, Child and Family Services, and the hospitals in Rhode Island. That's a key part of my job, is to collaborate with those agencies, ensuring students and families are set up with the appropriate community resources in Rhode Island, and ensuring that with those supports, they are able to attend and really enhance their academic performance to achieve success in high school. So I appreciate your time tonight. And like Amanda said, we're going to be, Terry, Amanda, and myself will be at the PHSO meeting. And please join us if you have questions or just want to get to know us a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. I promise everyone to have you out for the 6:19 start of the very first period. And I want to introduce Mr. Tim Marin, who's been our MVP at the high school. When we transitioned to virtual learning, he's been taking care of a lot of the technology issues that are here at the school. And I want to thank him for all his work. So perhaps he can speak a little bit more about the Chromebook situation at Portsmouth High School. Tim?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Amaral. First and foremost, thank you all families for joining us this evening. I'm actually a product of our Portsmouth Patriot Learning community. I went to Melville Elementary School, went to middle school, and then finally graduated our Portsmouth High School as well. And it's just a great connection and building those connections with all the adults that were in the building when I was a student. So now as someone that's on the other side, as a colleague, and with all of my colleagues here tonight, I definitely want to welcome everybody, and we're going to have a great year. It's going to be a different year. In regards to Chromebooks, I do want to share with you, and I'm just going to click on the share button right here. It's a website that we can all visit. It has access to wonderful tributes. There's a technology happenings in Portsmouth that you can look over. It's part of my Twitter feed. But I want to point your attention to Chromebooks. And the big takeaway with Chromebooks here, we are one-to-one. That means every student has access to a Chromebook that they can actually use both in school and bring them home also to complete academic work. Big takeaway, overall, Chromebooks are tools for student learning. That's the way we frame these Chromebooks. So if you just tab up here, so again, this is techmarm.com. This is the website that's a lot of information. And I want to point your attention towards the Chromebook tab right up here. And if you visit this, you can actually join me later this evening during a learning center. I have an accessible Zoom link. So you just click there. So you can always email. So there's an email link. Anything you want to know about Chromebook, and in particular, our Chromebook orientation, there's some information here, which also includes a screencast with an Edpuzzle. And basically what an Edpuzzle is, it has monitored progress reporting of questions that are embedded within the screencast. So it kind of checks for understanding as you go. And if you have any issues with Chromebooks, my go-to is always down here, right on the bottom. This is the magic bullet right here, power refresh. So take that device. I encourage any student to do a power refresh that solves 99.9% of the problems. But if you're in that 0.1%, if you review this website, you'll be able to gain access for additional help. Any students can reach out to me. So power refresh, updating from
but people can reach out to you during the learning centers. You'll be around all evening. So if they have a question, they can Zoom you an email, or they can go onto your website to be able to ask those questions. I promise you 6:19, it is 6:19. Thank you for coming tonight. I hope you get a lot out of it. We do have a survey at the end of the night. Please fill it out so we can learn from that and try to make this a better experience for you as a parent in future virtual meetings.